Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. And we are back. I got back a couple of hours ago, minus a bag. My suitcase has been lost. Boy, is what it is. I only just made my flight as well. Obviously, the event went on way past when it should have. Like, we were told that AJ was going to ring walk around 1:30 in the morning. He ended up ring walking around 3:30 in the morning. My flight was 7 a.m. So I was panicking. So I just about made it. But look, enough of that. We are back. So let's talk about Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about the fight card. Let's quickly bring it up. Obviously, we're going to focus mainly on AJ versus Francis Ngannou. But there were some interesting results on the fight card. Some really good performances as well. And I think it would be silly not to discuss them. What did you guys make of the whole fight week? I thought the fight week was fun. Obviously, I was there Sunday evening, so I covered the grand arrivals. Then, what else did I do? Every day. What was every day? So, grand arrivals, public workout, press conference, weigh-in, and fight night. Fight night for me was the longest fight night I've ever done in my life. So if I did, if I made a couple of mistakes, forgive me. It was a long day. Like normally, fight night for me with a card over here, for example, I don't go on air until 7, and we're done by 11. So it's not like 4 hours, whatever. That's not tough at all. We had to get to the arena at 3 in the afternoon. We went live at 6. We finished at 4 in the morning. So I was on from 6 until 4. Not complaining. Obviously, we get paid, and it was fun to be there. But it was a very, very long day. All right, let's quickly round up some of the fights on the card. We're going to skip all the prelims. No one really wants to talk about those. That Nowitzki kid, the Ukrainian, unbeaten, could be someone to watch out for. Let's give him another sort of year or so, year to 18 months. He could be good. Massive win for Louis Green over Jack McGann. I say massive win. This was always a step up for Jack McGann. I mean, you look at Louis Green's record, he's only lost to good fighters. Just a massive step up. He is a scary dude. Even when you're interviewing him, I have an interview style where, sometimes I make a couple of jokes, whatever, just to make the fighters feel comfortable. He wasn't having none of it. He wasn't having none of it. Tough man, good win, as it was as well for Mark Chamberlain. Good win for him as well. It was so random, but the stories are true. Turki Al-Sheikh saw him and says he wants him on his fight card. And look, I mean, I don't know what Mark Chamberlain would have got paid, but I'm guessing it would have been way more than his last 3 or 4 fights combined. So in a sense, his life has been changed, and hopefully he's done enough to get on another big card as well. Justice Hooney versus Kevin Lerena. I think 2 of the scorecards are at 96, 94. I think Howard Foster's scorecard of 98, 92 was wrong. 96, 94 was correct. It was a very close fight. I think Kevin Lerena is going to watch that back and kick himself. Obviously, look, he's been through a lot in the last couple of days. His mum passed away. So him even being in the ring is testament to his mindset. But I think at times he had Justice Hooney hurt proper, and he didn't go for it. Maybe it is a case of, I think in the second round we had Hooney hurt. He went for it, and I think it took him about 3 or 4 rounds to kind of get his win back again. And maybe he thought, if I kind of blow my gasket again, I'm fucked. But you got to go for it. That would have been the biggest win of his career. Justice Hooney, let's pump the brakes a little bit. There was a lot of talk from Eddie about putting him in that 5 versus 5 thing against Joe Joyce or Daniel Dubois. He's not ready for that at all. No chance. Madrimov versus Kurbanov. This is going to be a big name drop here. But I watch Madrimov and I actually see Canelo and Golovkin. It's true. He was doing things. I was like, oh my God, he did something. And I was like, oh my God, that's Canelo. And then he did something and I was like, oh my God, that's Golovkin. And I think if you were to ask him, you ask him who his favourite fighters are, I'd be shocked if he doesn't say Canelo and Golovkin. And he's obviously mimicked their style, and that's what happens, right? Coming through. This fight's a strange one. This fight was on, off, on, off, on. Obviously, who failed I think, was it Kurbanov that initially failed a brain scan? I'm going to say Kurbanov. I think I saw Dan Raphael say something about it, that the British Boxing Board of Control didn't approve the fight, and then somehow the fight's on, and in the end, Madrimov wins. He's the new WBA world champion. Obviously, we've got Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman coming up. Madrimov, I think Eddie said it in the post-fight interview that Madrimov wants to become undisputed, so I'm guessing they're going to target the winner of that. And then what else happens to all the other belts that Jamel Charlo has now, I think, vacated, because he's now champion in recess, I think, for most of them. Nick Bull beat Ray Vargas. I think Ray started very well, but slowed down, and that was always going to happen. He's not made the featherweight limit for a couple of years. He's not fought for 14 months when he fought El Shaki Foster and lost, moving up in weight. And he just looked like a man that's not been active, whereas Nick Bull looked like a wrecking machine. And I thought Nick Bull won a couple of knockdowns as well. Wait, a couple? Was it one or two? I think it was one knockdown, right? No, two. Two knockdowns. Come on, man. So I think Frank had every reason to be upset. I think Nick Bull should be the new champion, and it would have been nice to see Nick Bull versus Raymond Ford on that 5 versus 5. I do hear that that could still happen. All right, very quickly, Zhilei Zhang versus Joseph Parker. Parker down twice in that fight. And I tweeted, I think it was round 3 when he got put down. I think I tweeted that Zhilei Zhang could be the best heavyweight on planet Earth, because he was just walking Parker down. He was walking him down. And then all of a sudden, the gas tank went, dum, and there was nothing. You know, he threw, how many punches do you think in round 12? 4, I think it was. He landed how many? He landed no punches in round 12, Zhilei Zhang. And he seemed somewhat upset by the scorecards. I'm like, dude, you did nothing for about 3 rounds. Like nothing. His gas tank was empty. Whereas Joseph Parker, obviously, look, his gas tank is full because he's been active. It's that simple. Joseph Parker's had 5 fights in 13, 14 months. That's active, man. That's active. So yeah, good luck to him. I mean, what a run he's on. I mean, it's incredible. Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang back to back. I said this on the broadcast. Hopefully you guys picked it up. I said on the broadcast that, I mean, his resume is up there, you know, with any heavyweight of this era's resume. Win or lose. Win or lose. I mean, look at the names he's fought. Andy Ruiz Jr., Carlos Takam, Dillian White, Chisora, AJ, Joe Joyce, Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang. What have I missed out? I don't know if you guys rate Hughie Fury or not, but Hughie Fury's in there as well. That's solid, man. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And you could argue, in fact, I don't think it's an argument, his 2 biggest wins are bigger than AJ's 2 biggest wins. I'm trying to think of what AJ's 2 biggest are. Vladimir Klitschko, obviously, and the Andy Ruiz rematch, maybe? Whereas Joseph Parker's Wilder and Zhang. Fucking ridiculous, isn't it? All right, let's talk about a big man. Anthony Joshua got the job done, and got the job done in emphatic fashion. Absolutely destroyed Francis Ngannou. Iced him, put him to sleep. Now look, I said AJ would win by knockout. I didn't think it would that early. I was having little bets with Ariel Helwani, who was picking Ngannou, and I said, look, AJ's going to get rid of him in 4. I was hearing great stuff from AJ's camp. I met one of AJ's good friends, someone he's grown up with that's been in camp with him, and he was like, AJ looking good. And I was like, yeah? And he's like, trust me, he's looking good. And I said, okay, AJ in 4. I said, AJ in 4. His mindset looked good all week. He's kind of got that, I don't give a fuck about anything apart from winning mentality, which I don't mind, even if it means we don't get the best interviews out of him, even if it means that, you know, he's not giving us the energy that we need for the broadcast. I don't really give a shit. The most important thing for AJ is that he wins, and he destroyed Francis Ngannou. And I know a lot of people will say, okay, well, you know, Ngannou's a 2-fight novice and blah, blah. I get all that, but he's still a big man that can punch. And AJ just showed this is what really is supposed to happen when an MMA guy who's just took up the sport of boxing thinks he can step in the ring with a former 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world that isn't washed. AJ's fresh. AJ, in fact, is probably the best AJ we've seen maybe ever. maybe ever. And I don't think that's a crazy statement, because sometimes you just hit your peak at your right time. Like Joseph Parker was a former world champion. The Joseph Parker now will destroy the Joseph Parker that beat Andy Ruiz back in 2014 or whatever it was. That will destroy him. And I look at AJ now, and I look at someone that it's almost like losing the world title has taken all the shackles off, all the pressure of it off. Remember Anderson Silva talking about this? Anderson Silva, former UFC middleweight champion. And it was like, once he lost the belt, it was like, thank God. And I feel like that might be the case of AJ. I don't know. Look, I'm not going to get overly excited just because Ngannou's not, and I know the WBC head is a top 10 heavyweight, but he's not a top 10 heavyweight. He isn't. He's a dangerous guy, he's a big guy, he's a strong guy. But the fact is, prior to fighting AJ, he had one fight. And I know that fight was against Tyson Fury, but he had one fight. AJ was locked in. Obviously, he gave credit to Ben Davison. I added a bit of credit on for Lee Wiley. And he's in sync with that team. And he looks like he's in a good headspace. And look, I don't know if I want to see AJ versus Usyk again. But when I did speak to AJ a few months back and I said, do you want that Usyk fight again? He was like, yeah. But obviously he wants the Fury. So look, it isn't just a case of Fury. I think it's a case of whoever wins. Whoever wins May 18th, fuck the rematch. AJ's going in there with them straight. I have no doubt about it. AJ will be in the ring with the winner of that fight in September. No doubt about it at all. And I also think it could potentially happen at Wembley Stadium as well. Obviously, if it's Fury, then there's more likelihood of that. But AJ looked good yesterday, man. I'm happy that Francis is okay. Francis, like I said, I think I tweeted out that he still won in life. He's won in life, man. I mean, this guy gambled on himself and has made, I'm hearing, around 30 million for both of those fights. 30 million. I mean, this guy was making in the hundreds of thousands, which is, still a lot of money, but nothing like what he's making now. And look, he could still stay in boxing. I doubt we'll see him in the ring again. I doubt there'll be that much interest to see him in the ring again. When you get knocked out like that, I just feel like maybe go back to the PFL or maybe have that John Jones fight. But even he will be worried now. Now he knows that he can be hurt. You see fighters change. Like those fighters that were indestructible, once they are knocked out, it's a whole different ballgame for them mentally. So whereas Ngannou's been very mentally strong, as someone that you can't destroy, you can hit with a baseball bat and he won't move, that's gone now. That's done. So let's see how he copes with it. Because I think we've watched AJ go through that. AJ was like that coming up, right? A guy that you can't hurt. Then when you realise you could hurt him, I think we saw AJ kind of go into his shell a little bit. And it's taken AJ years to get out of that shell. So I'll be interested to see what Francis does. Eddie went into full promoter mode, didn't he, post-fight? AJ's the greatest heavyweight in the world right now. He's not. That guy, I mean, there's a guy that's fighting for Undisputed that beat him twice. And look, I'm a biggest AJ fan on planet Earth, but you got to be realistic about these things sometimes. Tyson Fury's unbeaten. Alexander Usyk's unbeaten. Alexander Usyk beat AJ twice back-to-back. AJ's the third best heavyweight in the world at the moment, and that's good. That's good. There are some that are suggesting maybe AJ have a fight in between. It depends how active he wants to be. Obviously, look, he'll wait till May 18th. If the winner of that fight comes through unscathed, then I think AJ will go straight for it. But if the winner of that fight comes through a grueling fight and isn't able to kind of turn it around that quick, then I think we've seen with AJ what he's been doing in the last 12 months. He'll stay busy. Heagyweight is there. Joseph Parker's a good fight. That's there. There are other names as well. One thing with AJ, I think we've seen it now, isn't a case of him just fighting top 5, top 6, top 7 guys. He just wants to fight. He wants to fight. He wants to stay busy. He wants to get better. And I'm just comfortable with him fighting guys in the top 15. I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm okay with that. I saw Agit Kabayel ringside, who came off that really good win against Arslanbek Makhmudov on the undercard of AJ Ottavon, and he's ready to get in. I mean, if AJ can't make a fight between himself and the winner of Fury Usyk, I don't mind the Kabayel type fight. I don't mind Heagyweight. I don't mind Parker. There are loads of names that can be put in the ring. But it is good to see AJ back, even though he keeps trying to take the fucking mic from in interviews. And it's funny because people at home are like, just let him take the mic. You don't understand. Like, you're not, as a broadcaster, if you let someone take the mic, then they're in the control of the interview and you're fucked. AJ takes the mic. I think we've seen it in past interviews. He might just leave the ring. He might leave the ring and he might go anywhere and well, what's going to happen? You know, so they can't let him take that mic. And I was fighting, I was like, bruv, you're not taking the mic. But then my hands started to get sweated. I was like, oh my God, I could feel my hands slipping off the mic. I was like, shit. Then he just gave it back. I was like, motherfucker. All right, you know what? I'm going to do a separate video tomorrow about all the other stuff that's happened in the week. This was just a very quick video. You guys can probably hear that my voice is going. Obviously, there's loads to talk about. Canelo versus Munguia is done. A lot of people are asking me, is it DAZN? It's DAZN and it's PBC. So I'm guessing DAZN have the worldwide rights to it. Obviously, Munguia is a DAZN fighter, and PBC, Amazon Prime, will have the American rights. And another bit of news as well is that the CRAWFORD Chris Eubank Jr. rumors. Now, this is so funny because I've seen a lot of people say, this is bullshit, this is bullshit. It's not bullshit at all. I know the guy that's trying to put this fight on. I know him personally. I've known him for 20 years. I actually saw him at the event yesterday. This fight is like close to being signed. And he came up to me and he asked me, Addy, what do you think? And I was like, boy, I know Chris is your dude, but I don't know, man. I think this is silly. But this fight is legit. They're trying to make this fight happen at 160 as well. And I guess if you're CRAWFORD, the want to do this would be to test yourself at a higher weight class, see what it feels like to kind of, you know, walk into the ring with that extra weight. So yeah, I could see this happening. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the Middle East as well. All right, guys, we are going to do separate videos. My voice is going. Peace and love. I'll catch you during the week.